Hey there guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, and it's a bit of a new day in America, whether you like that it's a new day or not, and obviously you saw the title. I'm not going to talk much about that, but it is a quick little thing. I hope, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, or if you're in the middle, who cares if you care or not, whatever. Hopefully you can come here and just enjoy life and enjoy and be happy. So I'm going to try to make this... Sorry, my papers are moving because I got a fan on in here. Hopefully that's not bothering the microphone. But anyway, I'm here to provide you with entertainment. That's what I'm going to do. So today I'm going to be giving you a off-the-cuff review of a series of unfortunate events, the newest original series to pop up on Netflix. And yeah, we're just going to talk about it. So I'm ready. I'm all chipper, I suppose. I've got a list of things I'm going to talk about, and I got a Crystal Pepsi to drink, which I haven't had a Crystal Pepsi since October, since I made the video, and it's just as weird as I remember it being. Whew, okay. So let's forget about real world events and let's talk about unfortunate events. That's great. So we're going to start off here with the story. The story is of the Baudelaire orphans, who are orphaned because their parents die in a fire, and they are sent to live with Count Olaf, played by Neil Patrick Harris. And he's a terrible, terrible person who really just wants the children's fortune that the oldest one, Violet, will inherit when she comes of age. And so basically the whole show is about him trying to get the fortune, and they don't just stay with Count Olaf through the entire season. They go to other caretakers, but each 2 episodes is basically along the lines of the same thing. They go to a new guardian. Count Olaf comes in, tries to take the fortune, and they thwart his plans in some way, or they escape. And that's basically the gist of the story. There is a subplot that is going on in the story, and it's interesting what they do with that subplot. There's kind of a twist at the end of the season that I'm not really going to give away. So yeah, that's basically the gist of the story. We're going to go ahead and get into characters. Let's start with the Baudelaire children. We have Violet, Klaus, and the baby Sunny. They're really good. They're really interesting to follow. Good acting. I'm trying to think of... I've got stuff in my head. I'm trying to think. They each kind of have their own strengths while also being really, really smart. Klaus is more of the reader and the learner. And God... And that's going to go off too. Okay. Sorry. My list fell down and then that went off and everything's happening. So Klaus, he's kind of the reader and stuff. And so when he's faced with a problem, he'll generally go and he'll try to read up on things and try to figure out a way of doing things. Violet is the inventor. So when there's a problem, she tries to invent her way out of it. Sunny is honestly just kind of there. Occasionally she'll say something or like they need to, like, she's apparently amazing with chewing, which sounds really weird, but excuse me. But she'll like chew her way through anything. And so that comes up occasionally, but other than that, she honestly does not serve a purpose, but she's not in the way or anything. Because one thing that is interesting is normally in a show when you have a baby, the baby kind of hijacks the plot. Like, I can't really think of a great example, but you know what I mean. Like there will still be like situations and things happening, but then you add on the baby element, and then a lot of things are now tied around the baby, which makes sense, but it can get annoying after a while, at least in my opinion. But here, it's really not a drawback, because it's really not that. It just doesn't get in the way that she is a baby. Like, they don't spend time, changing her diapers in the middle of a scene or anything. It's like, you don't see that. She just happens to be a baby. That's really it. In terms of the villain, Count Olaf, very good and very funny. Neil Patrick Harris was really good in this. Now, I've never read the books, nor have I seen the movie from 2004. But I saw the previews for that movie with Jim Carrey, and that looked bad. He looked way too goofy. And my brother, who had read the books, he was like, no, he's not supposed to be that kind of Jim Carrey goofy. And I just always assumed, so he's supposed to be kind of serious. He's supposed to be like a serious villain. And he's kind of serious, but still also goofy, but not Jim Carrey goofy, which probably some of you understand, hopefully. Like, what's a good way to say that? See, because I'm thinking of the characters that Jim Carrey has played, and I can't think of one that is supposed to be serious goofy, but not Jim Carrey goofy. Like the Grinch. The Grinch has his laughs, but he's still kind of serious, even though you can see that he enjoys what he does. But he's not Jim Carrey level of like kind of crazy, and neither is like Ebenezer Scrooge. So apparently, does a lot of Christmas stuff. I just realized. So, but anyway, Neil Patrick Harris, it surprised me that it's like, yes, he is kind of goofy and he's very funny. He's also very threatening. Like, there is a level of threat and there is a presence to Count Olaf. And that is really interesting. And there is kind of a presence. There's a presence to one of his sidekicks, and you'll probably figure out who pretty fast. It's pretty much the henchman that gets the most screen time, and he has like a bunch of henchmen. He's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, and one of them gets more screen time than the others, and he can actually be kind of threatening, at least threatening enough to children who are the main characters of this. Other than that, the different caretakers that the Baudelaires have. Asif Manvi is in this. He plays Uncle Monty. He was really good. It was nice to see him. It was nice to see just him. He's a good actor, and he's actually like the best part of the Last Airbender movie, if only because it's just him. But anyway, their Aunt Josephine, played by Alfre Woodard. There we go. For some reason, Viola Davis kept coming into my head, and I was like, no, that's Viola Davis is from Suicide Squad. I'm thinking of the person from Luke Cage and First Contact. I'm like, Alfre Woodard, that's the name. So sorry, that's my memory acting up. She's pretty interesting. If you saw her in Luke Cage, and she is this very serious, very threatening person. And Luke Cage is another Netflix series, and you go to this Netflix series, it's a very, very different character, very funny and very interesting. And then some of the other characters were all right. I can't think of too many other. I can't really think of any bad characters. Really, well, okay. There's one character that comes in pretty much throughout the he's in every episode. It's Mr. Poe. And he was kind of funny in the first 2 episodes. This guy gets really annoying, like, right after those first 2 episodes. When he's just so stupid. And he still gets laughs, but occasionally when he's on screen in the later episodes, I start like, hate it. Which is honestly because I'm so invested in the Baudelaire children and we're just so invested in what they're doing and trying to escape Count Olaf. And they keep going through all this crap with Count Olaf. And then Mr. Poe is just so stupid that it's hard to... it gets to me every once in a while. Other than that, the only other character I can really bring up is Lemony Snicket, who you probably know is the author of the books. And you're thinking, okay, why is Lemony Snicket a character? It's like, well, I think Lemony Snicket is actually a pen name that the author uses, and he actually used his pen name as a character. So there's a character in here. He's basically the narrator, kind of. And he'll pop up every once in a while and he'll explain some things. And he's played by Patrick Warburton, and it was a really good performance. Normally when I think of Patrick Warburton, I think of him, I think of him when he yells, or when his voice is a little, just a little louder. Like, Kronk, I think, in Emperor's New Groove, or like Joe in Family Guy or something. Like, when I think of Patrick Warburton, I think of, him just yelling and stuff. And in this, he's very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's very contained. He's very, quiet. He's like, this is, this is the next thing that happens. And if you're looking for a good, happy series, I'd advise you to look somewhere else. He's very contained, and that really works. And he really does seem like the author, or at least it's just perfect for this character. This guy who's been studying the Baudelaire case for so long, and now he's giving us the information, and you can almost tell, like, he's kind of gotten depressed from this. And now I'm kind of just going outside of the box on this, but he kind of seems depressed. Like, he's been going over this case so long that it started to get to him. So, I don't know. So, that's pretty much all I can say in terms of characters. Yeah, they're all pretty good. It's exceptional acting by the kids. The kids, they're teenagers. Earlier teenagers than... See, when I think of teenagers, I think of late teenager. And by late teenager, I mean 15 to 18. And I actually don't think... I forget 19 is teenager still, which is strange because I'm 19. But anyway, yeah, the kids are pretty good, solid acting, and it'll be interesting to see where they go in season 2 and where they go after this series. Yeah. Note to self, and to all the people doing reviews: don't have a fan on just above you to where your list can be blown away. Don't sit. God. This little bit of comedy was brought to you for no reason at all. Anyway, the only other thing I'm really going to talk about is the production value, because it's actually really interesting. This is actually the most expensive Netflix show that Netflix has done. And you're thinking, okay, well, that's interesting, even more than, like, the Marvel shows. Excuse me. And it's interesting because it's like, well, in the Marvel shows, how many sets do they actually need to build? Like, because it just takes place in modern New York, so you could just go to modern New York and film it. Or you could just go to any, building, and it probably looks like modern New York. So that's interesting because you can really see the production value. Like, the sets are amazing in this series. They're kind of grand and very detailed. I think the production designer is Bo Welch, and he if you see some of his work, you can tell he puts a lot into the sets, and so that's really interesting. And then they do actually have some CG in this show, and it's kind of interesting because it's not exactly realistic CG. It just, like, sometimes when they have CG, it doesn't really look real, but at the same time it still works. Like, occasionally you'll just know, okay, Patrick Warburton is just standing in front of a green screen, and it's really good what's behind him, but you can tell it's a green screen. Or when they're on the trolley, it's a green screen. But it still works. It's still kind of stylized. So, in that respect, the CG is good, but it's I don't know, it's weird. Other than that, there's not really much else to talk about. So, yeah, I'd say that's about it for this review. Just overall thoughts, it was really good. I'm really excited for season 2. And yeah, go watch it if you have Netflix, which you probably do. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I might have a video out actually either today or tomorrow. And it might be the Logan trailer, the newest Logan trailer. I might do a reaction to that. Other than that, I'm probably not going to have too much going on throughout the week. We're kind of laying low a little bit. Not going to do too many like grand big videos. In fact, I was thinking, because I've been thinking of trying to do a review every month, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I should just do like grand reviews, like the Clone Wars reviews. Like, maybe I should just do those when there's really a purpose, and so I have time to do it. So, like, I have 2 planned for April, which I know I'm gonna stick with. So, but anyway, yeah, that's basically it. So the end cards have probably popped up. Do with that what you will. And yeah, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.